What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Nikita. We're back with another video. We're with another game preview, and this time it's between Notre Dame, USC, number 11 USC, number 24 Notre Dame, at Notre Dame. Big game for both teams, trying to bounce back off of tough losses. Notre Dame had a unsatisfactory performance against Michigan, and then USC lost the battle of SC, the first battle of USC to South Carolina at their own house at home in Los Angeles. So both teams had to go to I don't want to say go to the drawing board, because I don't think USC feels as down as, say, Notre Dame would. And I saw their Notre Dame's Twitter page talked about like refocus, reset, or rest, refocus, reset, something like that. And I think that's that's probably what they talked about in practice the last couple of days. And I think it's going to be a very interesting game, because I don't know how much is going to change besides Hidalgo maybe having more opportunity, more space. But I do think when they play big teams, they're going to throw everything that they have at Hannah and make other players make plays. And it's not to say that those players can't make plays, but they're going to have to prove it on a game-by-game basis. And it's not like USC doesn't have good defenders. So that's another thing. It's like Hidalgo and Notre Dame, what they need is USC to struggle offensively, be able to get out in transition, and keep the game within reach. Michigan kind of had to, I don't want to say kind of, like they started out, 9-0, 11-0. Notre Dame made us a quick run, and then slowly but surely Michigan just pushed away until it was like a 20-point game for a good portion of the game. So for Notre Dame, I'm looking at the players outside of Hannah. But I'm also looking at Hannah. Hannah didn't play well in the Michigan game. It's hard for when your teams are lacking top-end talent and your best player doesn't perform at a super high level. It's hard for you to win games, especially against top-level talent. And we don't know how good Michigan is yet. They play UConn tomorrow. I'm dropping this tonight, so they play them tomorrow. And I think it's going to be a very interesting game, and it's going to be very, very telling of how good Michigan is. And when I watched that game, I wasn't sure if it was Notre Dame was bad or Michigan was really good, or if it was somewhere in the middle. I'm leaning towards somewhere in the middle. I don't think Notre Dame is going to lose every good team that they play by 20 points. Lose to every good team that they play by 20 points. But I do think they're going to have to find like what their identity is, and it has to be something that can work game in, game out. It can't be, oh, we got to force turnovers and things like that. Like, obviously you want to force turnovers, but you're not going to get the turnovers the way that you got against Akron. So that's how do you manage that? Like, when you're not able to get out in transition or get fast break points, how do you score in the half court? Who are you looking to in the half court? Cassandra Prosper was really good in the first couple of games, struggled a bit in the Michigan. Everyone struggled in the Michigan game. Vanessa De Jesus, same with her. It's just kind of hard to see where they have advantages in this matchup, and a good bit of matchups that they're going to play when they get to ACC play. Outside of Hannah, it's hard to say, like, yeah, they got the advantage here. Yeah, they have the advantage here. Like, they're going to have to be a team that just plays hard every single night, plays great defense, and keeps themselves within the game. And then hopefully Hannah can take over. Hannah she could prove to be one of the best players in the country, which she is. But that's a lot to ask of a player every single night, especially once you get to ACC play. Yeah. And then for USC, I think for them, it's just continuing to find that identity offensively. Just figure out what works for you, what doesn't. I feel like a lot of what they did against South Carolina was just kind of I don't want to say hoping, but what I see with Jazzy Davidson a good bit, and she's only 4 to 5 games in her college career, so it's going to get better and better. But she doesn't do a great job of I don't want to say taking her time, but like being patient once she decides to go to the rim. I don't remember who they played. They played somebody the other night. It was a smaller school, but they played, I think, Portland. I think it was Portland. They played Portland the other night, and there was a charge. I mean, they called a block, but it looked like a charge to me. And I think she just has to figure out what is her best. What's the best part of her game? What's the best part of her offensive prowess? Like, what is her go-tos? Is it getting to the rim, using your pivot feet, your Euro steps and things like that? Is it creating enough space to get jump shots? Is it off the dribble, or is it off the dribble? Is it off the catch? And that's something that USC, as like their coaching staff and the program, has to do, is make sure that you're putting your players in the right positions. You don't have to worry about that with Juju because she's just that good. And it's not to say that Jazzy Davidson can't get there, but at this current moment, she is not there. So it's hard to look at this team as well and say, like, okay, they have the chance to compete because they don't have the offensive weapons that a lot of these other teams do. But they do have the defensive weapons and the defensive versatility. But when you play against these great schools and they go on these smaller run, or like these runs that you can't answer, it's really hard to get back in the game when you don't really trust your offense as much. So a game like this is really interesting because it could come down to either a team making a couple runs. It could come down to neither team being able to score a lot, or maybe both teams score a great bit and it's a super high scoring game. Like, you really just never know with basketball. Like, sometimes it's really weird. But I will say, I do think Notre Dame has a much better chance of winning this game than they had of winning the Michigan game. For USC, what I'm trying to do is similar to what Michigan did: create pressure, get the ball out of Hidalgo's hands, and I think if you can do that, you have a really good chance of winning this game. Make the other players for Notre Dame beat you. Make those players make the plays. Make those players create. USC doesn't have a huge post presence, but I think it's much better than what Notre Dame has. And that was a problem for them against Michigan. I think that'll be a problem for them against most teams this season in the country, is just not having that flat out, like, yeah, this is our center, yeah, this is our post player. Like, even some teams like just have one and then you don't have depth, but at least you have one. Or like, you may not start them, but they come off the bench. Like, they don't have one center that they can look at and be like, all right, this is our center. And like, I know they lost Kate Koval, but it's like, man, like, I don't know, it's just tough. Like, they had done so well recruiting lately. I would have assumed that they were able to bring in enough. Now, granted, they have some players set up for next season to come in, and they're going to be in a good position next year. But I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird. It's a very weird team, a weirdly constructed team. For a team that still wants to be really good. That's the thing. It's like, if it's just like a bridge year, then it's a bridge year. But this team still wants to be really good. Neil Ivey still expects to win a lot of games. Notre Dame's fans and media and all that, like the people that run the program, or not run the program, but the people that run the school and things like that, like, they expect Notre Dame women's basketball to be really good. Like, that's what they've come to know. Since Muffin McGraw was there, now Neil Ivey, like, it's a powerhouse program in women's basketball. So having down years, and I would say they haven't had that many. They had one in 2020. What was that, 2021? I think it was 2021 was Maddie's freshman year. So they've had one down year. I don't know if this is necessarily going to be a down year, but it's definitely not going to be the years that they've had the last 2 to 3. So again, I find this matchup interesting because both teams kind of need this win. If Notre Dame loses this one, I don't know where their confidence goes. I think USC will still be able to find that confidence because they're playing in the Big Ten. And I feel like outside of UCLA, they have a really good chance of beating a lot of those teams. And it's not to say they don't have a chance of beating UCLA. I just don't know if they have the firepower to keep up with UCLA. Yeah, Hannah Hidalgo is going to have to be insane. Like, she's going to have a phenomenal basketball game. And I don't know if she's going to be able to do that against USC's defense. and against a lot of big, like, I genuinely believe that a lot of teams are going to do what Michigan did, is try to create pressure on other ball handlers, create pressure on Hannah Hidalgo, make her give the ball up, and then just go from there. Like, but hopefully Notre Dame and Neil Ivey found ways to combat that, because they had to know going into the season that a lot of teams were going to throw everything at Hannah Hidalgo. Like, we heard Kim Barnes-Arico talk about it, or we heard that she had talked about it, was they treated Hannah Hidalgo like they treated Caitlin Clark in a way. Now, obviously, those are two different players, because one can shoot from half court, and the other one is just a ferocious competitor, and she can also shoot the ball and get to the rim at will. But she did say that they're two different players, but she has experience guarding those kinds of players with these kinds of teams. So, and I don't think she was trying to disrespect anybody on Notre Dame or that was on Iowa, but I think everyone knows, like, compared to other teams, this Notre Dame team isn't as good as the top teams in the country. And then as far as on paper, like, in terms of top end talent, it's not there. And then the same, you could say the same for Iowa when Caitlin Clark was there. They didn't have a bunch of players that had like top end talent or super big names coming out of high school, but they all understood what roles to play. If Notre Dame can get that figured out, they have a good chance of winning this game and having a good season. But I just don't know if I believe in them doing that this year. USC is probably going to win this game. Like, I would venture to bet that USC wins by like 7 to 11 points, anywhere between there. So anywhere between there, I think, is a good. Anywhere between there, I think, is a good win for them. I think they can look at this team and say, we may not be the most talented offensively, but we can find ways to make this game very, very difficult for them. And in turn, the offense gets easier. And obviously, I mean, honestly, they didn't play bad offensively against NC State necessarily. But, I mean, London Jones shooting the way she did and then Jazzy Davidson doing what she did in the second half really helped that. But I just think Jazzy Davidson needs to find the easier ways to score, find what's her, like, USC needs to find what her preferred ways of scoring are. Like, what are your best ways to score, and how do we make sure that that's something that we're trying to do? Not every single play, but almost every time down, we're trying to find a way to get you in a good spot, get you in a spot that you feel comfortable. And if you can't do that, it's going to be hard for y'all to win this year. But I think USC wins this game. I think it can still be a really good game. I don't expect this to be a blowout the way that Michigan game was, but it could end up being that again. I'm not going to expect it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you tap in with the next videos. And with past videos, we talked about overreactions and reactions on the last video. And we've done some other game previews. We've done some player spotlights. So make sure you guys are tapping in with that. And thank you guys for watching.